overlay. Hello, and welcome to A Life of Creation. My name is Chad, and I am the host of this channel. Today, I want to talk about inspiration and motivation. Hope you enjoy it. All right, motivation. How do you motivate yourself? We as creators can be motivated by money, taking care of our family. A project could motivate us. A a feeling in our gut could motivate us. Boredom could motivate us. There's lots of different things that can motivate us as creators. But what? How do you motivate yourself? As creators, I feel like we go through seasons of, we're just totally inspired, we're motivated, we're just hammering away at whatever creation we are working on, whatever project or idea or whatever. And then we go through a season where it's just like you're happy if you get up and go to work or do anything at night besides just sit on the couch and watch TV. I think the ebbs and flows of being a creator are, it comes with the territory. And I think there is something to be said about taking those times or those seasons of, where you're not feeling inspired or motivated to do anything, to just almost like recharge, take a step back, and just, almost refuel your fire. Because sometimes in those moments of peace or quiet, that is a time that you can actually find a new inspiration to you know kind of get those gears turning again. But I think I'm guilty of this. I am inspired to do a lot of things. I have all kinds of ideas, dreams, hopes, projects, aspirations. And then when it comes to doing it, I lack the motivation. And I think so. I started thinking about motivation versus inspiration. Um, I feel like motivation can um, spark inspiration, and I think inspiration can spark motivation. So, for instance, you know, I think about me picking up a guitar. I'm not always inspired to write a new song every time I pick up a guitar, um, but I'm motivated to pick up a guitar. So I will pick up the guitar and just usually just play the same few couple riffs that I know and that I enjoy playing, and and I that could be all I do. I may not do anything, but then there's some times where you're playing that same riff and a little spark starts turning in your mind, and you get inspired. um, and then you go on to create something or write something new. On the other side, I think you could be inspired to do something, and the inspiration is so strong and powerful that it gets that motivation rolling. And motivation is a hard rock to roll sometimes. And so as I was thinking about it, I was wondering, can you be motivated without inspiration? Or can you have inspiration without the motivation? And I think you can. I think you can have motivation but no inspiration. For me, I wanted to talk about this today because I just spent most of my day steaming and shooting t-shirts all day. I spent probably 4 hours physically, touching t-shirts. And it's not inspiring. It's routine, and I can go through a lot of t-shirts in a short amount of time because it's a process and it's routine. It's not inspiring, but I'm motivated to do it because that's something I can check off my to-do list at work. And the we get things online to sell, and hopefully that increases sales volumes for work, and we thrive and succeed. So the motivation's there, but there's no inspiration. But on the other hand, I think about a lot of the projects that I've tried to do, and I'm inspired, and my wife would be the first one to agree with me that I jump headfirst into some of these things and get excited about it. Like the fountain pens I talked about, I bought one and then ended up with several, or baseball cards. I bought one and ended up with several, because those things inspire me and motivate me. But when it comes to some inspirations, I'm inspired and I have the idea, but the motivation's not there. And so that inspiration, just kind of falls apart and um, falls flat, and that it's just, there's nothing comes of it. It's just another, you know, thought that just drifts off into the sky. So while I was thinking about it, it's like, you could have inspiration without motivation, and you can have motivation without inspiration, but the results are very different. I think you can still be very productive if you are solely going off of motivation. But if you only have inspiration with no motivation, I think you can, your project is going to suffer. Um, so it's kind of, a war as creators of how we stay motivated when we're not inspired, and then when we're inspired, how do we generate that motivation to you know to actually pursue these things. And doing this channel is a prime example of that. I've had this idea for probably years at this point, and I was inspired, but the motivation to actually sit down and do it has always been a hard thing for me because it's so far out of my comfort zone. So I've, always, I'm very, very good at coming up with excuses to not do something. I think as creators, we need to figure out, those core themes inside us, those deep seated items in our soul that makes us carry on. And I think once we have a good grasp on those things that motivate us, um, I think we can, you know, find that motivation easier. And I think we can, when we have these, brief inspirations or new ideas for projects, if we know what motivates us deep down in our souls, we can, you know, dig into that easier or quicker than normal. So I think, it's something I'm working on too, being able to just find that motivation to do these things. And I think, doing some of these videos, it's a reminder to me as well that, motivation is a very important part of creation. And I think there's many things that can be motivating, but I think there is an inherent thing within us that, really drives that fire. And I think we just need to tap into it, and so that we can push through the ebbs and flows of inspiration, because inspiration is fleeting, and it doesn't even always carry through the project that you are inspired to work on. That inspiration may go out the window, but you're in the middle of the project and you want to finish it because you started it, and at one point you were inspired to do it. And I think that's where motivation comes in. So figure out what motivates you so that you can live a life of creation. All right, thanks.